Whoa! What the hell was that?
I don't know. Don't say things like that to me when I'm standing here in a pair of
Lizard.
short trousers and sandals.
I think it was a lizard.
No.
It was.
No.
It was.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure whether the camera's going to pick up this sunset or not. And after that little announcement, I don't fancy hanging around much longer to try either. So if we've got it, we've got it. If we haven't, we haven't. I'm not looking forward to meeting lizards.
Hi, I'm Pete.
And I'm Kaz, and together we're Crafty Caravanners. Today's video is a continuation from our trip to the New Forest, and we're going to be talking about our top tips for off-gridding in a caravan. Did you just fart?
No.
It must have been the chair squeaking. It
Must
felt
have
like
been,
a little...
yeah.
Number 1, solar panels. Most caravans these days do have solar panels, as do we. However, when we parked up onto our pitch, we didn't think about solar, we didn't think about trees, we didn't think anything about how we were going to get power into our solar.
So it's important to bear in mind where you're going to put your caravan when you pitch it up. It may look nice and pretty under the trees, but that's going to cut back some of the valuable sunlight that would otherwise be hitting on your solar panel. Make sure that your solar panel is clean before you start your journey. There's no way that light is going to get through a thick layer of mud that's sitting on top of your panel.
Again, if you've brought something like a Jackery power pack along with you, make sure that your solar panel is clean on that too. So, talking about power supplies takes us nicely on to item number 2.
Consider a power pack. We bought a couple of small ones with us, and the nature of these ones enable you to charge a phone and a watch maybe a couple of times on one charge. And that's about it. So we've seen a couple of other YouTubers here with us, and they've been using various brands of external power banks, sometimes referred to as power generators. We think one of those would be a really nice addition to any caravan setup where you're going to be without electricity main supply for any length of time. Remember, a caravan typically only has one leisure battery, as opposed to a motorhome which is provisioned for 2, and you'll often find 2 batteries in a motorhome. We've got to be a lot more careful with what we have in a caravan.
We certainly didn't need a TV. We don't have a 12-volt TV, so couldn't take one anyway, but I spent most of the trip keep looking at the battery panel, seeing whether it was good, bad, fair, poor. This was our first experience of off-gridding, and I really didn't know how it was going to go.
The next thing to bear in mind is that if you're off-gridding somewhere, it means there isn't electricity, and if there isn't electricity, there's not going to be lights. So make sure that you've got your services all connected and topped up with water for the aqua roll, and that your waste master is empty before it gets dark. You don't want to be stumbling around with a head torch. Sometimes you get caught unawares, so bring your head torch is probably a good thing to do.
Yeah, but if you can, make sure that you've emptied anything that needs emptying in the daylight, so that you just don't have to worry about doing it in the dark.
Another battery conservation tip is to avoid using your caravan's motor mover if at all practical. Using a motor mover will drain the battery faster than anything else you're probably going to plug into your battery. Find a pitch where you don't have to worry about using the motor mover. If you can reverse in, do the reverse in. If you can do a sideways on where you can just tow through, then do that. But if you have to use the motor mover for the last little bit, then so be it. As there's no electricity to watch the television, sometimes you may find that there's also a lack of signal as well. So we have no television signal, no internet signal, nothing.
Couldn't use a fire stick, you can't...
Nothing like
that.
that
Needs the internet.
We were fortunate enough to be at a rally where there was plenty of company to keep us busy into the late hours.
So here are Rosie and Bob, and they've been at Hermanfest with us, and let's see how they've felt about the experience.
Yeah, it's been absolutely brilliant. Our first time.
Is this your first rally or just your first time to
First
Herman?
rally.
First rally.
Same as us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same as quite a few, that's great, isn't it? Yeah.
But yeah, everyone's been really friendly, and we enjoyed the cake yesterday.
It
Who
really
wouldn't?
was Cake Fest, wasn't it, really?
Who wouldn't?
Yeah, it was thoroughly enjoyable.
Yeah. I've liked the way that we didn't know most of the people here, and everybody has just kind of come together, and everybody's kind of gone round to other different people in groups, and no one's gone into a clique each night. They've kind of sat by different people, or part of the way through the night you've moved round. And
I think it's a reflection on Ad's channel. The people that he's
drawn.
turned up.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Everyone's of a sort, and it's been really enjoyable.
Yeah.
We can imagine on such a trip, if you're away by yourself, it's probably going to be wise to bring something from the analog world. If anybody still remembers that, bring an actual book, bring a pack of cards, bring a board game, something that doesn't require either electricity or internet.
And you never know, you may even have to speak to one another. God forbid.
We recently bought a teppanyaki grill, lovely electric thing, of course absolutely useless to us this weekend, so...
Yep, we've had to get the trusty old Kadak out, anything that is powered by gas, so definitely barbecue time. And also Pete's a fan of coffee, and we normally have an electric coffee machine with us, so knowing that we were coming off grid, we purchased a traditional old coffee pot, and that, I'm told, makes a lovely cup of coffee.
It certainly does. I may even just prefer it to the fancy electric machine.
And it's a lot lighter, so if we remove the coffee machine, we'll be saving on some of the weight in the van as well.
Yes, we will. One thing we forgot on this trip was our awning. We don't have an awning of any kind with us, and it would have been so nice to have the sun canopy here with us this weekend. Even though we're not getting that much sun, it would have kept the rain off the side of the caravan a little bit. Make sure you have enough gas for this off-road experience. Some of the things we have work on electricity, but others totally rely on gas. Now at the moment there seems to be a bit of a gas shortage, so we have about half a bottle in the front of the caravan, and probably 90% of a bottle that we brought along with us in our towing van as well. So we're fine for a weekend in terms of gas, but before you set out on a big adventure, make sure you have enough gas. The gas is also used for heating. It's the middle of summer at the moment, but the evenings can get quite cool. We're not far away from the sea, and that sea breeze came in last night and it got cold. Please don't leave any rubbish behind. Use the bins on site, or take out with you what you brought in.
So that's our experience, first time off-gridding, and what we think were useful points that we recognised whilst we were experiencing it for the first time. And we hope it'll encourage others of you to actually take your caravan off-grid, because it's absolutely as simple as taking a motorhome off-grid. There's no reason why you can't take your caravan off-grid without worrying. I wish I hadn't stressed quite so much about the power situation, because as I said, the first day I did spend quite a lot of time keep looking to see how the power was doing. I was scared to have a shower. I'd even brought baby wipes with me just in case. No need, it's absolutely fine.
Thank you for watching this part 2 video of our journey to the New Forest, where we discussed our off-grid experiences. If you've not seen part 1, why not have a look, and we'll pop a link to part 1 at the end of this video, and I'll also put a link down in the description below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.
Bye!
Bye.